人の死因にもいろいろある。老衰、自殺、病死。今この世界で最も多く人々を恐怖させている死因は
Fire Force, one of the more unique anime to have arrived this season, combining concepts that aren't too out of the ordinary, but blending it would result into something so bizarre. And I don't like it. But this anime doesn't only carry a shocking concept. It looks really good and has a cast of characters that are quite interesting to say the least. Let's discuss those more. I'm always astounded how Japanese artists can just combine concepts and just make them work. To be honest, if somebody asked me, what would be the first thing you'll think of when putting the fire department and the Catholic Church beside each other? It could definitely be along the lines of, oh shit, they're burning witches again? But I'm not saying it works for everybody, but there are definitely people out there who'll stay because they're genuinely interested on how a fusion of concepts would actually turn out, being so unimaginable at first glance. A great example here would be this. I don't want to expand on them too much, but let me just tell you, I'm a huge fan of this group, Baby Metal. A group that combined pop music, and not just any pop. It's the very kawaii idol type of Japanese pop. That, and metal. It's crazy, unheard of, I know, and it's effing brilliant. But like what I've said before, it isn't for everybody, but there definitely are people out there who'll appreciate it like yours truly. And for people who are looking for something very out of the box, then I'm sure Fire Force, and maybe Baby Metal, could potentially be up your alley. But of course, a great crazy concept wouldn't be enough to carry a whole show. We've been through shows that try to be a little crazier than others, which successfully had people's attention at first, to only be a disappointment at the very end.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
Of course, one of the most important aspects of having a great, or at least decent, anime is a good progression in its story. And Fire Force hasn't failed on that so far. It's hidden enough of its plot that we're still constantly on the edge of our seats trying to figure it out, and slowly revealed it to its audience, grabbing our attention and keeping our interest. What's the secret behind the tragedy that struck Shinra's family? The origin of the Infernals? And how is it all related to the special Fire Force?
特殊消防隊は葬人の原因を掴んでいるはずなんだ。俺はそれを見つけ出し、人々を救いたい。
It may have taken a while, but with the introduction of Hibana and her unit, the show may finally be taking its first steps on figuring out just what the mysteries are behind all of these, and to more fan service. One thing that I just wasn't very comfortable with in the beginning though, but now have gotten quite used to, were these sudden silence within conversations. Doesn't bother me as much now as it did in the first few episodes, but honestly, what is up with that? Are there other shows out there that actually make use of this style of dialogue? Or is it just a way to prolong episodes to actually extend the anime into a lengthier series? Whatever the case is, it definitely needs a little getting used to. Thankfully though, the fight scenes in Fire Force isn't as quiet as the deadpan silence in their conversations. Look, this anime was bound to get a whole lot of fire puns, so just deal with it. Now, if you've watched enough anime or any type of series in general, you're pretty much aware by now how these shows will try to draw you in with great looking openings, only to serve us with scenes that will get poorer and poorer in quality the further we go along with it. But hey, that's okay, just as long as the first one they presented was an indication that if they do deliver a great scene again, then it would at least be on par with it, then there really isn't any reason to complain. Unless, you know, you just like to bitch around.
Oh, come on, stop whining.
But seriously, holy crap, the scene was just on point. Starting with a random guy spontaneously combusting and turning into an inferno, how good it actually looked. It seemed to prepare our eyes for a feast, and that it did. Though it may have only lasted quite briefly, Well, what did you expect? A first episode of just fighting off a rando? Every bit of it was just top notch.
永遠の炎に着せ
But the fight scenes aren't the only things that look good here. Characters definitely look great. The devilishly looking Shinra, the generic pretty boy Arthur, and of course, the women. Not a single one of them disappointing us when it comes to not only being eye candy, but somehow unique from each other. But more than that, what really surprised me was how they made firefighter uniforms look a whole lot better. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but like almost every uniform out there, it looks boring as fuck in real life. But I'm pretty sure single middle-aged mothers would have a very different opinion. I guess giving anything the anime treatment can make things a whole lot better. But not even considering the over-the-top rendition that's worn by the women in the show, just by simply giving it this neon bluish glowy thing for the guys, it already looks 10 times better. But on a serious note, want to feel like you're better than your peers? Then why not try this firefighting princess garb on? Not only will it make you feel like all the people surrounding you are trash, it'll even turn men into masochists that'll openly welcome the idea of accepting any form of pain you'll give them. What was that? You want to be molested while extinguishing fire as if you're in some sort of porn scene? Then why not try this firefighting stripper outfit? If you've got the bust size and shapely rear for it, then this is just perfect for you. Oh, but how about the conservative types out there? Well, we've also got you covered. Not only will your chastity be protected while saving victims of fire with this firefighting nun outfit, if you do actually decide to let go of the good girl act, then it has an automatic screw me feature that will definitely make any man out there. Alright, enough of that. As amazing as the overall visuals look, I definitely started worrying because of how their abilities seem to be quite, how should I put it? Simple. Sure, it was cool to see flames bursting out from Shinra's feet, but then on the next episode we were introduced to Maki and her ability to put faces on her flames. Either that or put them out entirely. Even worse, here comes generic pretty boy with his shiny sword. Shit, like, seriously? That's it? But there seems to be hope in the form of Hinawa and his bullet manipulation ability. I honestly thought they'd take the bullets made of fire route for this guy, but I was happily surprised on how his abilities turned out. Controlling the force of the bullets it fires off from his assorted collection of guns and even taking control of its trajectory, it's almost like the anime version of the movie wanted. Unfortunately though, just like how long it took for this anime to actually present us abilities that are actually interesting, they've also done the same with the characters. This anime began by showcasing the fiery personality of Shinra and his more than eye-catching boosters. But as glad as I was seeing how scorching their characters are, it made me happier that they can also be quite receptive during the sadder, colder scenes in the show. When this girl was devastated when his father turned into an inferno just after her mother did, and now fearing that it wouldn't take long for her to also combust, they reassured her that everything will turn out well. This was perfectly exemplified by their leader who gave us the first impression of being the muscle-brained comic relief, but turned out to be the complete contrast of that and was actually a great character who fits his role perfectly. And remember Pretty Boy earlier? Well, it turns out he isn't such a jerk after all. He completely understands the pain that the victims are going through, and as idiotic as he is sometimes, he can still gather enough smarts to actually act accordingly to what the situation needs.
大隊長、俺に鎮魂をさせてくれ。ちょっと待てよ。あのホムラビト、まだ何もしてないだろ。バカ野郎！あの親父はとてつもない炎の痛みに耐えて座っているんだぞ。早く楽にしてやるんだ。
But you know what's hotter and colder than their personalities? Their freaking jokes. I do have to say, majority of their attempts at being funny are lukewarm at best. Just enough to make me smile. But I'm not saying that's bad at all. In fact, personally, a smile is quite significant already. But sadly, there are jokes that just fall short and are downright cringy. Though it really isn't that big of an issue, this show could be much better if it could hit those jokes a little closer to the target. But enough of the segue, I want to be honest for a second. Early on, I really thought there was nothing more to these characters than just being hype when a fight was about to go down, then suddenly turned sympathetic when we've got the victims on screen. We all know that we're still figuring out Shinra's backstory, and when I began to notice that it was only a story that the anime has mentioned so far, I began to worry that every other episode might just be some sort of filler that'll give us low quality fights while they try to ramp up another reveal about Shinra's life. And even though the show does give hints that other characters could potentially share the spotlight and have their backstory get explored as well, like Arthur and what truly is going on with him and Shinra. Are they just two guys who just didn't get along during their days at the academy? Also, Maki's history as a soldier. And does she also have a special connection with Hinoa? But all of those were the sure thing. Good thing a candidate for best waifu this season came along. Hibana really spiced things up for the character exploration aspect of the series. Because not only did you give Iris a brighter spotlight, they now have this sort of dynamic between them. A mystery behind these two. That just made me a lot more curious to how Iris came to be a part of the Fire Force, her relationship with Hibana, and how Hibana came to be the waifu perfect for all the masochists out there. But of course I didn't fail to take notice of Captain Obi, who, for me, seemed to have the biggest secret of all, being the leader of a company that almost acts as the internal affairs of the Special Fire Force, tracking down people within the force who potentially could have something to do with the origin of the Infernals, how he came to be in that position, and what he had to go through to become the defying force of the very same department he serves.
正義の組織だと信じているが、きな臭い思惑のあるタイもあるかもしれん。完全に信用できない以上。Let me
be straightforward with you guys. This anime won't be for everybody. It has some things that could need a little more polishing, and for viewers out there who can't help themselves but focus on the smallest, and I mean minute, of flaws, then just take your refined can only appreciate intellectual anime as somewhere else. Let us dumb people enjoy the simple things in life, okay? Because personally, I'm really having a good time with this one. Sure, it has noticeable problems, but the number of good things this show has going on just far outweighs those that are trying to drag it down. It's blazing, it's hot, it's fire, it's lit, and whatever adjective you kids are using these days that pertain to something being in heat. Fire Force is definitely worth your time. Thank you so much for watching. I've been having a blast making videos so far, and I just don't think that I'll be slowing down anytime soon. There'll be plenty more to come, so if you don't want to miss on those, then just subscribe and follow along this crazy YouTube journey of mine. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share it with your friends, and let me know your thoughts on Fire Force. Is it the melted candle wax on your skin kinda good, or did it just leave you with burn marks that you're not too comfortable with? Let me know down below. Until next time, guys.